Welcome to the live lesson. Pretty much this is the on location dated July 9th, 2025, the whole year of our deliverance and destruction and construction and judgment of Esau. What you see behind us, pretty much Bass Pro building. And if you notice, the Bass Pro building, which wasn't a Bass Pro building at first, but it's in the shape of a pyramid. So we got a little info we're going to bring out, dealing with the history, some history, Greek history of Memphis, how it got its name, so on and so forth. And a couple of other little points that came out. So also further proof to you that America is the new or the modern Egypt, right? So we can start off with that. That's along with that. And whatever y'all got, bring it into me. You got it.
Yeah, this is a commercial appeal. It said the pyramid in Memphis. Photos through the years from Tiger Basketball to Bass Pro.
Because there used to be a basketball.
Right. Yeah.
So they said,
the Tigers and the Grizzlies.
Right, because they said that it seated like 20,000 people or something like that.
Yeah. Said the skeleton of the Great American Pyramid was reflected in a pool of standing water left over from the Memphis area range. Always had a special connection to its ancient namesake, Memphis, Egypt.
Right, because the name Memphis goes back to Egypt, ancient Egypt. This is the modern Egypt. And this is why you have your man, Elon Musk, setting up his supercomputer here. And pretty much this will be like, I guess you could say, for lack of better words, it would be like the capital of the New World Order. That's it. Because you said, Elon Musk made that statement. Bring it out.
Yeah, he made the statement that Memphis is where the new God is going to come out of.
Yeah.
And he was referring to ancient Egypt and how Memphis and how it correlates to modern Egypt. And he cursed and he laughed. He was speaking with Jordan Peterson. He said, that's probably where our new God is going to be at. Yeah. And Jordan Peterson, he said, I wish that was funny.
Right.
He said, I wish that was funny because the elite are serious. When they built this city, and they named the city, it was done through left-hand means. The Masons, so-called illuminated ones, they deal with astrology, they deal with landmarks, they deal with astrology, and this was the perfect place to call, which was the capital of ancient Egypt. This was the perfect place, Memphis.
That's why he said that AI is going to be our new God. Because now they setting up, they said that this computer all this technology, in order to bring that the empire in, which is going to be known as the New World Order.
Yeah.
And he needs their water supply. Because cool down their computer system. Because it takes about 2 million gallons per day to keep that system cool. And Memphis also has a underground natural water source. He's not with the aquifer. The aquifer. So he's draining the water supply to feed that computer. That's why he set it down on President Island. President Island set it right on the bank of the river. But they're not using the river supply. Right. They're using the natural, the good water. They're not using the water from the river, they're using the water from underground, natural water supply. Yep.
Hey, because the scriptures say that the Lord got He's going to destroy these devils for destroying the earth.
Right.
They got to do it. The earth has been given into their management, and they have not done a good job. Right? So let's read on. Unless I got something else.
We can finish the article.
Yeah, done.
I got an article too.
I'll read Revelation 11 and 8 real quick.
And I got a precept too.
Revelation 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Right. It says spiritually, it says low. I said it sounds kind of low on possibility.
Okay, we probably gotta get a little closer.
Yeah, come on, good.
Yeah. Get a little closer.
Read it again.
Yep. Revelation 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
Yeah, and that dead body represents a dead state of mind. All right, not a physical dead body. All right, but it's mental. All right, because it said, he that wanted out the way of understanding shall remain in what? In the congregation of the dead. So with those the dead bodies represent Jacob without what? The knowledge, wisdom, understanding. You got it?
Yeah, let us know if y'all can hear a little better now.
You probably turn it on like silent or something. It says, which spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt.
Yeah. And then when you look up the word Egypt, it goes back to ancient Egypt. You know, because there's no other place on the planet that was known as Egypt. Those are the Egypt or the ancient Egyptians.
Yep.
Which you had the pharaohs. You know, you had a lot of like mystery religions growing out of those areas. And this is why Esau taps into that energy, because that's the energy that he revolves on.
Yeah.
That's the energy he's connected to. You know, because they're not connected to the Most High as far as being spiritual. They're connected to the left hand side of the tree, which is, you know, total wickedness. And that's what they thrive on. So this is why they'll look to ancient, you know, ruins or ancient
Gods.
empires and gods for inspiration.
Yep. For power.
For power,
For
yeah.
inspiration. They're conjuring those old ancient gods.
Yeah.
That old ancient Memphis spirit, they conjuring that spirit here. This is why they have the pyramid right there by the Mississippi.
Yep.
Which the Mississippi is supposed to
Mirror the
resemble
Nile.
a mirror the Nile.
Yeah.
Right.
So everything Esau does, he does it for a reason.
Yep.
You know, he searches out everything. You know, just like how Washington D.C. was built. It's all built, with numbers and astronomy and
Yep.
you know,
The Pentagon.
the pentagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the owl, the aerial view, you can see the image of the owl from the top. Yep.
Another thing they do is they set up their building structures according to constellations in
Yep.
heaven.
Yep.
You know, and so that they can align, like, you know, like the saying, as above, so below. So this is why they do that, because they're trying to tap into that energy. They understand about something called ley lines. Ley lines are hot spots pretty much on the planet where a lot of angelic or divine activity happens. You know, like the case with Jacob, what they call Jacob's ladder.
Yeah.
You know, there's different spots on the planet that have that energy. But you could use the energy for righteousness, or you could use it for wickedness.
This is why the grove that we're doing the sacrifices in.
Bohemian Grove.
The Bohemian Grove. Yeah. I got a real precept for it real quick. This
So
Ecclesiastes.
the bottom line is America is modern day Egypt.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
And again, going back to Elon Musk expressed that this is the revitalized of the ancient Egypt system.
See how he was laughing? That was
Yeah.
a wicked laugh. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah, you know, because they know he's a smart hat and they know what the plans are. But read that and then I'm gonna hit
Okay, this Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
Yeah, so pretty much the people that are here today have been here many times. It's the same shit done over. The people that were here during the flood, they're here again.
Right.
The people that were here that were ridiculing, mocking your outside, they're back here again. And this time is for serious judgment. Is that it? Okay, I just got something real quick. Like in the back of you have the American dollar bill. I mean, I'm sure the majority of you out there should know about the American dollar bill. It's known as a talisman. And pretty much, you know, on this dollar bill, you have a lot of different emblems. They call it the reverse seal or whatever the case may be. And on the reverse seal, you have on the back of it, the seal, you have what's known as the pyramid of Cheops. or Cheops. So the question would be is, what is an Egyptian pyramid doing on the back of a $1 bill?
Done.
And on top of that, it's they have Latin writing
Done.
within the dollar bill.
Yep.
They're telling you something.
Novus Ordo Seclorum,
That's it.
which is New World Order,
There you go.
and then Annuit Coeptis.
Yep.
Uh,
Which means, it pretty much means that
He
our
favors-
enterprise, he favors our enterprise.
he favors our
Or our
enterprise.
enterprise has been crowned with success.
And in another one, it says he favors our undertakings.
Our undertaking, that's it.
Done.
Because they're doing it underhanded.
Underhanded.
And
Yep.
that's why people speak about what the King David said, deliver me, how does that go? Psalm 64.
The secret counsel of the wicked.
Secret counsel of the wicked.
Yep.
Which we could get that. Matter of fact, somebody get that.
Done.
And that's the secret counsel of the wicked, which is what they call the Illuminati.
Done.
And then when you use that word, it's been ridiculed and laughed at, but these are actual things that these devils do.
Done.
And they bank on the stupidity of the average person to not accept it and laugh at the thought of a behind-the-scene conspiracy of powerful men that are controlling everything behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They make people laugh at stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that shit is true.
Yep. They truth and jest.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Like they try to make jest out of the truth.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Psalm 64 and 1. Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy.
Uh-huh.
Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked.
And you go, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. So they have an undertaking, which goes into their agenda, which goes into their enterprise.
Yep.
And when they said that the enterprise has been crowned with success, that means that all steam is going
Full ahead.
full ahead, or however they're
Full
saying.
steam ahead.
Full steam ahead. And that's exactly what these devils want. So they pretty much got it off the ground.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's on. It's up.
Oh yeah.
It's up and running. Within the last 5 years, they've accomplished major strides in the New World Order.
Well, warp speed.
Yep.
You can see within the last 5 years how everything has sped up. Even them wanting to go into Iran, that has manifested, and it's only going to reveal even more. They're going to move even quicker towards their agenda, and as they move quicker to their agenda, they're going to be exposed a lot. It's going to be made more plain. That they're going to like for example, these things are now being recognized as to be true.
Right.
Oh man, why is there a pyramid on the back of the dollar bill?
Yeah.
Right.
Why do they have pyramids? And then Elon Musk came out again, going back to Elon Musk, what he said, this is where our new God is going to be.
Yeah.
Memphis,
Yeah.
the capital of Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the mind of the elites. They're basically telling you openly, what is it, the revelation of the method.
Yeah.
Very impossible. I'm lying, but this is what spiritual Egypt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Egypt goes to what? Bondage.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, the word Egypt itself, the
Montezari.
name, right? The name doesn't mean bondage, but the idea of bondage took place in Egypt.
So that's why I
Because
said the house of bondage.
that's it. Yep. Because they call it the iron furnace. So the actual name is Mizraim or Montezari. Which they have different interpretations of what it means. Some say it means embanked by the sea. Others you could tie it to actual slavery. But I would have to go back over that to look it back up. I haven't looked it up in a while.
It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Now you got it.
I was gonna say who was the wicked Esau Edom. And just quick note to the point, Memphis actually was named by the Greeks. It wasn't Memphis at first. It was it goes back to the Greek word Menifer, I think, Menifer. But the Greeks called it Memphis. Yeah, it was Menifer. Then they called it Memphis.
Yeah, because they did a lot of things that they did. They named them Greek names so they could pronounce it.
So they can pronounce it. But they couldn't pronounce it, so they named it. They called it Memphis. Yep, going back to Alexandria, Egypt. The Ptolemies was ruling in Alexandria, Egypt.
Right.
Yep, the Greeks.
Yeah, and they set themselves up at Pharaoh.
Yep.
Esau had like a very deep passion for the Egyptian culture.
Yep.
And power.
In power because they worship the dead.
Yep.
And they were high level in witchcraft.
Yep.
You know, that was one place where it was like a hotbed of witchcraft. You know, you had those magi back then that were, you know, they could, like, going back to Moses, they were able to turn their staffs into snakes.
Serpents. Yep.
Serpents.
Yep.
So they had certain powers. They were able, I believe, even to create frogs. There were certain
And Magi,
magi. They had certain magi that were able to do those things. You know.
Janus and Jambres.
Yep.
Yeah, speaking of Pharaoh, we're not sure what area of the building it
They
is,
had,
but they used to have, if you could bring it up, somebody could
The
bring that,
image.
the image that I sent y'all.
Yep.
They had an image of a replica of Ramesses II, which they call Ramesses the Great.
Yeah.
All right, right with this pyramid.
Yep.
But then this right here was built in 1991,
Got
and the pyramid was placed there. I forgot the actual year it was placed there.
the statue.
Yeah, the statue. But it was removed. Okay, it said the replica statue was put in place at the pyramid June 5th, 1991. So it was the statue that was placed in 1991 and moved to Memphis campus on April 23rd, 2012.
2012.
So that actually, cause that's why I wanted to come here to show a picture.
Of the pyramid with the statue.
Right,
Yeah, it's
but,
right there.
but they didn't have, they removed it.
They removed it. Yep.
But it's not, it's maybe like 10 miles away from here.
Yep. So
No?
Lord willing, we can go
Yeah,
by
we'll
there.
go hit it, you know, boom, boom, show you.
Yep.
You know, or you can look it up.
Yep.
And it's probably some occultic meaning behind them bringing it 10 miles away, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they deal with numerology.
Yep.
You know, they deal with because you got something like that has a lot of spiritual energy to it, left-hand spiritual energy to it. So those things are powerful. That's why they enact those pyramids and those frescoes and you know those statues
Yep.
Show you.
because they're like hotbeds of energy.
Yep.
Okay, well they even throughout the United States they have what those Baphomet statues
Yep.
everywhere.
Yep.
Yep, you can say that's exactly where we at.
Call it
You know,
The Symbolic and obelisk.
Yep.
obelisk,
Yep. They got those.
You find those all over the place, all in them churches,
Yep.
on DC,
Yep.
you know.
Just off the highway randomly. Just,
Yep.
Yep.
Great marker.
Yep. Those are all hotbeds of
Yep.
wicked energy that they try to conjure and try to manipulate.
Well, it's memorials.
Right.
Yeah. Just talk about the memorial of the wicked.
Yep.
Yep. So they have these different statues and landmarks as memorials.
Yeah.
So, like you said, they honor the dead.
Yeah.
You know, they honor the dead.
Right. And speaking of the dead, right? I was looking up some information because I heard this before. I never looked it up, but I heard that the Egyptians either prayed or did something to the North Star for military power. But they said that's not the case.
Okay.
Said, but what they did was them pyramids, they would align the pyramids with the North Star because they believed that the dead would go to the North Star. So they would have the light of the North Star shining into the pyramid to make an easy transition for the Pharaoh's spirit leaving. See? So, you know, that's what this is about. Because I asked the brother if that top of there lights up at night.
Yeah, it does.
See?
Yeah.
So
And even when this place was inactive, that light, yeah.
It was
People
still on?
used to say that it was Masons in there doing shit.
they probably
You
were.
know, because they was like, why is inactive all these years, but that light still be flashing?
And you can see the pyramid on the top. It has an all see. You can see. You know, it's light, and that's the light of Lucifer. Which is Lucifer is not the spiritual demon Satan. Lucifer are the illuminated ones, the international bankers of this world.
That's it.
All right, you can see it there, and then within that top of the pyramid and that light, you have the all-seeing eye, which is the eye, pretty much the eye of Satan. You know?
I got a quick piece of information. This is from the AI overview of what year was the pyramid, was Ramsey statue placed in front of the pyramid. It says a bronze statue of Ramsey the Great was placed in front of the Memphis Pyramid in 1991. The statue is a fiberglass reproduction weighing 5,000 pounds and standing 25 feet tall. It was copied with the permission of the Egyptian government.
Right.
They had to go to the Egyptian government to get permission to even copy.
Yeah.
You know, so I just wanted to bring that out. And then I got an article too
Is that the one with
about Andrew Jackson.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, bring that. That's
Okay.
The one
So this is from
Just to show you that, just like Washington D.C., they chose that and they set it up just like Egypt, just like Rome. You know, and these places like this around America, which are hotspots, they set them up like that on purpose to venerate ancient gods, to venerate ancient, ancient so-called great civilizations of the past and their mystery religions.
Conjure those energies up.
Yeah.
Like you got witches that want to, have spirits take over them.
Yeah.
And they use certain talismans and certain objects and stuff like that to be able to conjure that energy. The same thing here. Why do you think there's such a death spirit out here in Memphis?
Yeah,
Niggas shooting each other all the time. Worshiping of the dead.
Yeah, because
Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Ramson, and what he was about, that same vibration is heavy in Memphis. Heavy in Memphis. Entertainment. He was a good warrior. That's really what he was praised for, being a good warrior.
Yeah. Right here it says Ramses II the Great, known for his long reign, extensive building, and military prowess.
Yeah, because he reigned for 66 years. He was the first one ever to bring in what's called like a peace treaty.
Peace treaty.
Yep. He was the first one ever to bring a peace treaty to Egypt. Yep. That was the first one. But he's known for his reign, his military.
Well, that's what the New World Order is about.
Yep.
So-called bringing world peace.
Yep.
What they call peace through strength.
Yeah.
With his code word, we just gonna bomb the hell out of you and take you down through the force of the sword.
Right.
That's how we're gonna bring our peace.
But let's back up. Genesis, the 41 chapter. They say how you gonna live by the sword.
Yeah.
So he was given the fatness of the earth and the rule of heaven. But it said he was gonna live by that sword. He was gonna go through that conquering with that sword.
Yeah, but if you want, we could transition over there.
Whatever you want to do. Y'all got
That's the stuff.
I'm cool.
Yeah, I was cool, but I'm just saying.
I'm cool.
We can back it up a little bit.
Yeah, we cool. We get the backdrop there.
Okay, yeah, it's still showing everything.
This is the article, and it's from mywonderlustylife.com.
Dang.
And it was last updated May 7, 2025, right? So it says Memphis, Tennessee and Memphis, Egypt, a collection of connections. It says, why is Memphis, Tennessee named after Memphis, Egypt? It says, so yes, Memphis, Egypt was one of the oldest and most important cities in ancient Egypt. It was located right on the Nile River near the Giza Plateau. Hey, Memphis, Tennessee is on a river too. Well, look at that. Back in the 3000s BC, the ancient Egyptian city went by the name of Menifer, the enduring and beautiful. That's what it meant. This eventually became
America, big and the beautiful.
The home of the
big,
beautiful.
yeah,
Something like that.
yeah,
Home of the brave and something the beautiful.
Yeah,
Something like
yeah.
that.
Really the home of the slaves.
yeah.
And speaking of slaves, Jill Scott said she in hot order for singing the national anthem.
Yeah, the right way.
I gotta go back and
Okay, I didn't see it, but I heard something like that.
Yeah. She sung the original national anthem. Yeah. She did get some pushback behind that.
hey,
Yep. She
Sure,
told the
jumped on
truth.
her.
She told the truth.
that's it.
Yep.
We're in the time of revealing.
That's it. It says this eventually became Memphis thanks to the Greeks and their inclination towards interpretation, going to how they changed the name, how Memphis actually came about, the name Memphis. Yep. About a bazillion years later, John Overton, James Winchester, and the future president of the United States, Andrew Jackson.
Well, you got the Winchester Ave, right?
Yeah, Winchester Avenue. That's named after him. And then you got Overton Park.
That's why I had this whole policy yesterday.
Yep.
Winchester's like one of the longest
It's a-
streets in Memphis.
Yep. It's gonna stretch from one end to the other. Yep. Running what? East to west.
Yeah, east to west.
East to west.
Long ones, and then you got Overton, like I said, Overton Park.
Overton
and
Park.
Also you got Overton High School.
Yep.
Named after him.
Yep. And you got Raleigh Egypt High School.
Yep.
It says Andrew Jackson seized the opportunity to one-up the founders of the newly formed Cairo, Illinois. True story. They named their new city Memphis in hopes of it one day being the seat of great kings, like its river adjacent namesake.
And and that's why this guy,
Elon
Musk,
Musk.
said that the new God could come out of him.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
this is this is the wave of the future.
Yep.
This digital AI, people think, back in the days we quote movies, you had Total Recall and other different movies that had Demolition Man had driverless cars, and people ridiculed us. Oh, you guys always talking about movies, this is entertainment.
Right.
But all that shit is happening
Now
now.
you see it.
That's all the predictive programming. So
Yeah.
even this is all predictive programming. They
Yeah.
set this all up in hopes to move forward with that agenda.
That's it.
And they set these landmarks up, these monuments, to be basically the objects of their NWO.
Yep.
We're gonna bring this in, like the Georgia Guidestones,
Monuments.
the monuments of their NWO. This is a success. Look what we have done. We've moved forward with our agenda, and these were monuments
Yep.
to show you that we have completed it.
Yep. Which he knows about that because that's a part of our culture. Just like he was talking about Jacob's ladder, and even when Jacob's name was changed to Israel, he set up a place of remembrance. Abraham set up places of remembrance, landmarks and monuments. They can take stones and let this be a place of remembrance and monuments because it is energy. Because you get there, you remember covenants, and you remember councils, and you remember contracts or whatever that was set up.
And then demons, help guide and navigate you, in your ventures.
Yep.
But the thing is that your ventures are to your demise, to your destruction.
That's it.
So you tapping into all them ancient demons that are still around.
Yep.
They show you in movies that them demons still around.
Yep.
And the story's always the same. The bad guy always loses.
The bad guy always loses.
The good guy always wins.
That's it.
The good guy all throughout the movie gets his ass kicked, but at the end he comes up. The winner.
Good always triumphs.
Yep.
Yep.
Good always wins.
Hey, I got one quick little piece left, right? It says, I'm gonna read this part again. It says, they named their new city Memphis in hopes of it one day being the seat of great kings, like its river adjacent namesake. And technically it was. Lights an Elvis Presley candle, what they call him, the king of rock and roll, right? Put on some BB. Prophecy fulfilled. BB King, right? So another thing too is that the music plays a part in controlling the spirit.
Right.
Yep. Music plays a part in controlling the spirit.
Sound wave.
Yep. Yep.
I got some real
Even
people
on that rap shit.
Saying the vibration.
3-6 Mafia
Yep.
are known as who? The kings of Memphis. And remember when they
and the king of crime.
and remember when they came, they got that Oscar for that damn movie and that song and shit. Yep.
What the Oscar was at the top.
Yep.
The Egyptian god.
The Egyptian god.
I
Yep.
got something for you real quick.
Come on, you got
You
it.
mentioned the music.
Yep.
Isaiah 14:11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials. The worm is spread unto thee, and the worms cover thee. Because pretty much the Lord ain't with that bullshit that you're pushing out there.
Nah.
Because music gives a certain vibration.
That's it.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the lyrics. It could be in the tone
Yep.
of the drums.
Yep. The hurts and
Yeah, the different things that they put out there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because they know that alters the mind.
Yep.
That alters the body.
Yep.
That alters your mood.
That's it.
They show you that in the clone Tyrone.
Tyrone. Yep. And your body is mostly water, so
Right.
your body responds to frequencies.
Right.
Yep.
Like that one dude that was playing certain frequencies with water, and then sometimes be
That water
ugly,
was
but then
yeah.
sometimes be a beautiful,
Yep.
a beautiful image.
Yep. Yep.
Show you, man, music is spiritual.
It is.
Hey, that's,
So no, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say there was an experiment Esau did where he took two plants
Yeah.
and he played like death metal to one plant, and the plant started dying, and then he played like, I want to say either was jazz or classical,
Yeah.
and to the other one, and it started to live, it started
Yeah.
to prosper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so just show you that the music holds vibration.
It does.
You know.
Yep.
And this is all part of their plan. This
Yep.
is why what they do there. They come in there, they take over the money supply. They take over all forms of newspaper and media outlets. They take over the radio. They take over the music. They take over the television.
Yep.
To control what everyone thinks and how they feel.
Keep you entertained.
Mind
Right.
control.
Yeah, because they're conditioning you. That's why it's called channel.
Yep, channels.
Channel. They
Yep.
it's called program.
Yep.
Program. You know, because they're programming the minds of the people to how they want it for the future.
Broadcasting.
Broadcasting. Yep.
You know.
Media.
Yep. Yep.
Medium.
Yep.
Which is the medium was the witch.
Yep.
That
Goes
would
back
be
to a
the
demon.
the between the person and the spirit.
Yep. Yep. That's why that thing with Tyler Perry prospered so well.
Yep.
Medea goes back to
Yeah.
media. Yep. Yep.
You're a demon.
A demon. Yep.
You know, actual spirit.
Yep.
They channeled that spirit.
Yep.
That cross-dressing spirit.
Yep.
You know, and put some laughs in it. That was to get Jake more accustomed to being seeing that. You know,
Yeah.
that transgender type shit.
Yep.
You know, it was all set up. That's why the Small had backed Tyler Perry.
They did.
You know, and set all that up.
Yep.
Yeah, 'cause you gotta remember, he got that from all the entertainment. Martin was
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx. Yep.
Yeah, the Marlon brothers.
Yep.
The Wayne's brother.
Wayne, yeah,
White
the,
chick.
yeah, the Waynes. Yep.
Yeah, white chick. That's
Yeah, yeah.
He make it say it's comedy, but Jake ain't looking at the vibration in the pussy.
Yeah,
Well, it's to disarm you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's to disarm you, so you don't really look at the truth of the matter as being an abomination.
Right.
You
Just
know?
because you're getting a laugh out of it.
Yeah, yeah,
We all watch Martin growing up.
yeah. That's why scripture say a wise man does scarcely smile. You know, because it's easy to disarm people with jokes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, let your guard down.
Yep.
You know, like you trying to get with a woman and talk to her.
Make her laugh.
Make her laugh.
Yeah.
She could be irritated, don't want to talk to you, maybe even think you ugly, but you make her laugh. Boom, you can see her
Venus.
her
Countess change.
And she opens up.
Right.
You know what I mean? She opens up. She flip her hair.
Yeah.
You know, she start melting. And now her guard is down. Now you can go in, you can say whatever you want to get. You know. You know.
Vulnerable.
Now you can penetrate.
That's it. And that's the. See, Esau, he studies that. He studies sociology,
That's it.
psychology.
That's it.
You know, he studies how people interact with each other, the different cues. He studies vibrations and aromatherapy. How does sense?
Yep.
How does color therapy?
Yep.
He studies all this.
Control energy.
Yeah, to control you,
Yeah.
to kind of move. It's not forcing, but it's kind of hoarding you into a particular mindset that he wants you to go in.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they'll have like groups of rats that they test stuff and they'll put them in a real toxic environment.
Yep.
And then rats get sick and
Yep.
messed up. Then they put them in the same ones in a thriving environment
Yep.
and they get better.
Man.
They act better. You know, and these devils know that. It's a game with these devils.
Yep. It's called.
Yeah, I just for the
Go ahead.
folk song because I had the precept on.
No, you got it, bro.
But it's just like the scripture saying, the righteous more excellent than his neighbor.
Yeah.
But the wicked,
The ways of the wicked
It seduces them.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like we just mentioned about the music industry, and you go into the entertainment industry. All this seduces our people.
Yeah, because it's something that that's why you have many different songs, right? That are good songs, but they'll play the same song
Play the
over
same.
and over.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
The radio
Because
station.
Yeah, it's a certain
Same
vibration. A certain vibration that they're trying to put out there.
Hypnosis.
Yeah.
It's all important in hypnosis and mind control. It's the program. That's why, going back to what you're saying, it's called programming because it's to program your subconscious.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you've been seeing Geico commercials all your whole life.
Yep.
Right? So now you finally have the ability to drive a car and it's time now to get license. Insurance.
Yeah.
Right? The first thing that's going to come into your mind is just the Geico commercial. You're going to see the little frog and
Yep.
shit.
Yep.
The little lizard, like the Geico, the gecko, the gecko or the Allstate or whatever. So that's all subconsciously programming your mind. So when the time comes, boom, all right, Geico or Allstate.
Yeah.
The same thing with the MOTV.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a grain of rice. It's just going to be quick. It's not that big of a deal.
Uh-huh.
So when that time actually comes,
You've been
boom,
desensitized.
you're being desensitized. Oh, it's just a grain of rice. It's not going to hurt. Oh, okay. It's going to come into your mind. Just take it. You know?
But you having not but knowing the consequences
That's it.
of taking that. It's in Revelation 14 chapter.
Yep.
The consequences of taking that is going to be severe.
Yeah. Why I say wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of our time,
There you go.
strength of our salvation.
Yeah. That's
Fear
why
the
it's going
Lord's
to catch
treasure.
people off guard because they not taking heed to the prophet that's out there warning them, all right, of the danger of the MOP.
Yeah.
That's why they without excuse.
Yeah. That's why it said a distinctive sound. We got to give them that distinctive sound.
Yeah, you got to use words easy to be understood.
That's it.
Make it plain upon page.
That's it, because you don't want to give them mixed messages.
Nah.
That's the last thing. No, because their blood will be on your hands.
You gotta make it plain.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so, brother got it.
I got a precept the box had something, but I got a
Yeah,
precept.
bring it out,
This is Psalms 49, because I know you had mentioned about
Well, this is why they
the
doing it.
land.
This is why they doing it.
Yep.
This is why they setting everything up, setting shop.
That's it.
This is Psalms
Yeah,
49 and 11. Their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever.
That's it. That's it.
And how?
Yep.
Do that and mischievous device. That's
Yep.
it. That's why in Psalms the second chapter, why do the heathen rage and imagine a vain thing?
Right.
Because in their mindset, they gonna rule forever with this technology.
And that's why that technology that they got really pushed their pump to the sky.
Right.
Because they, at one time they didn't have, 100 years ago, they didn't have this technology.
Nah.
50 years ago, they were just tapping into it.
Yeah, they weren't even the world superpower then.
Yeah.
They didn't become the world superpower until
World War
World War II.
II.
Yeah.
After Britain Woods, the agreement. When the dollar was the world reserve currency.
That's it.
Okay. So they weren't even the true hegemon back then. Now they're the true hegemon, and they have that. So what really came out of Babylon was technology.
That's it.
All the nations, all this technology that we see today, that came out of Babylon.
Because that's what helped accelerate the New World Order flow, especially the last 5 years.
Oh yeah.
That's how Babylon became a golden cup for the boys.
That's it.
Yeah.
It
Something
made all the
done.
nations drunk.
That's right. And what they drinking off of?
And drinking that hooch.
Yeah.
Babylonian hooch. That bad wine.
So what Chief Keith was talking about all the nations ain't doing what? You know what I'm saying? Like, you see all
He
the nations.
misinformed.
He ran definitely ain't doing it. Damn, bro, he
You
ran going
misinformed. You misinformed, brother.
I think you're about a decade late.
It says,
Update your info.
Man, he need a
Refresh.
yeah, he need to refresh.
yeah, he ain't been watching.
Nah. What do you do?
Yeah, it says, Psalms 49:11, that inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever,
Yep.
and the dwelling places to all generations.
Yeah, that's why they set up these monuments.
Yeah.
That's why they build pyramids. Because like in this article I was reading, it said prophecy fulfilled. Because his idea was great kings was going to come out of this city, like great kings came out of ancient Egypt.
And he became a president.
Yep.
Presidents
A forefather.
bloodline.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Elon Musk, he's small hat.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I guarantee.
So how the hell? Because I didn't know nothing about that.
Yep.
I didn't know nothing about Memphis being named this by Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson. Yep.
But here it is. He's pushing that vibration, same vibration.
Yep.
Here it is. All these years later.
He's on the same. He's on the same
Hey,
frequency.
yeah.
He's on the same.
Yeah,
frequency.
they're all insiders. They've been. He's been when he was brought up as a child. He was introduced
Yeah.
to that occultic.
Yeah, he knew the history.
Maybe
They're
they're
trained
saying,
up.
hide me from the secret conflict of witches.
Yep.
Because that's what they're pushing.
Yep.
And they're gonna keep pushing. They don't
Oh,
keep,
yeah.
they don't give a damn how many lives it takes or who doesn't like it or they don't even care if the Most High like it.
Oh yeah.
But that's gonna be their demise.
Which shows you they set up monuments in which the Most High destroyed ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
So you would model your city, your country.
You destroy ancient Rome.
He destroyed ancient Rome. He destroyed all those ancient kingdoms, Babylon.
Yeah.
The Medio Persia, Greece, Rome. And all the little smaller kingdoms in between. But he saw that. To hell with that. I'm gonna tap into all of them.
Yeah.
See, they didn't do it right. I'm gonna do it right.
Right.
I'm gonna add everything together.
Right.
I'm gonna tell them everything. I know.
Yeah. But you gonna like super tincture. Fuck, you just gonna throw everything in there. And take it. Something's gonna hit.
Something gonna work.
That's
Yeah.
Esau. He just throwing everything in there. A smorgasbord of demons
Yeah.
coming together under Satan, but he's been successful. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The pride of thy heart has deceived.
And that's why they're proud.
Yep.
Because everything's moving forward.
Yep.
And when the Lord let them tap into that technology, the Urim and the Thummim,
Oh man,
that's
forget
it.
about it.
That was a game changer.
It's all work. We all work for the second purpose.
Yeah.
Because it had to happen. It had to happen.
Now going back to what you said, when the Lord allowed them to tap into that technology, now they have this AI.
Yeah.
And even the commercial AI that we have is crazy. Like it's only getting better and better.
Yeah.
You know, it's
The chat GPT.
It's getting crazier. Like every month it's like a new leap and bound.
Yeah.
But how much more the shit that they got tucked away?
And we ain't
That we don't like. What, like
exposed to,
Palantir,
yeah.
they got some higher level technology
Yeah.
where they can tie anything, get your facial recognition,
Yep.
tie you back to any email you had,
Some
any
Mission
phone number
Impossible
you had.
shit.
Yeah,
See how real it looked on
Yep,
it.
yep. Oh, what you had? Was it Batman? I believe Batman. He had that technology.
Oh yeah, on the one with the Joker in it.
Yeah, with the
where
Joker.
he can see through the walls and see.
Well, he
that
had
one.
the big ass computer. He has a big ass computer.
He can see everything.
He can see everything.
Yeah.
It tap into any
System.
cell phone, any system.
Yeah,
You had that other movie, Eagle Eye.
yeah. And you had Fast and the Furious, God's Eye.
Yep,
I think it was called God's Eye.
Yep.
It's everywhere. Beef and Vendetta.
Yep.
That was 1984.
Uh-huh.
Big Brothers watching.
Oh, the accountant.
Yeah,
Remember the accountant where you had those hackers
Yep.
that are able to tap into everything? So they're showing you that they have that technology. They've been working on that technology.
Yeah.
Well, Eric Snowden, he actually revealed that that's what they were doing, the NSA. It was basically a big data grab. They were taking all the data from the American people and put it into a system to where they can go and they can tap into all your stuff without any type of warrant or anything, man. You know, they're basically spying after the Patriot Act 2 and all those acts. They were able to spy on all the American people and bring up any data that they want. And now we're coming to a time where, like in the movies where they show you the facial recognition,
Yep.
and they got the drones.
Yep.
You know, you're not gonna be able to hide.
Yeah. Enemy of the State was one of those movies too, with Will Smith.
Yep. That was like one of the first ones.
Yeah.
You had some.
Yeah, we're gonna last thing on wrapping up.
Okay, Con. Oh yeah, I have this.
I got a piece of it.
Yeah, I got a preset. I just wanted to go because in the scriptures the word Memphis is one time. Oh, you had that?
Yeah, I had Jeremiah
Okay,
46.
yeah. No, it's a couple different. You can do that one too. That was a good one too.
Okay.
Because that's North.
Yeah.
Right, that
But
was
in the NLT is Memphis.
in the NLT is Memphis.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the same. It's another word for Memphis.
Yep.
So in the scriptures, Memphis in there under Memphis one time, but 7 other times it's under North.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Which that's an ancient way of saying Memphis.
Yep.
Okay, and there's many scriptures which shows you that why did America allow this place to be called Memphis? Wouldn't this be a new place of what the founding fathers, weren't they of the Most High? Weren't they of God?
Right.
You know?
New world.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, because it was a new world in their image.
Yep.
And Esau, he's not like this great guy that has a lot of culture. He's still from other cultures.
Yep.
Even the other gods.
Yep.
You know?
And the Most High put it in their minds to name this place Memphis.
That's it.
You know, for prophecy's sake.
Had to be fulfilled.
Yep.
Spiritually, what? Sodom, spiritually.
Yep. This is Jeremiah 46 and 19 in the NLT. Pack up. Get ready to leave for exile, you citizens of Egypt. The city of Memphis will be destroyed without a single inhabitant. Yep. And even though ancient Memphis was turned to ruins, you know, it wasn't completely destroyed without inhabitants because they still got some
People still there.
people still there. Yeah. So this prophecy would apply to what? Memphis, Egypt, and America right now.
That's what the Lord said. Spiritually Egypt,
Yep.
spiritually Sodom,
Yep.
Babylon the Great, and many other names. Edom, Mount Seir, many other names, biblical names that have applied to it.
Yep.
That's
That's it.
So with that, Lord willing, y'all brothers and edified. Once again, we give all honor and glory and power to you.
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, HaKadosh.
Double honor to our elders, the peace, blessing, open leg, next time, shalom.
Shalom.
Ball,
Ball.
Ball.
Rock,
The rock called Akim.